ओके, we're back. उदय भास्कर साहब आप हमारे साथ हैं नई दिल्ली से? भास्कर साहब, ओके, मैं आपसे एक सवाल एक और पूछना चाह रहा हूं कि कर्नल पुरोहित की जो ट्रायल हुई है उसमें हिंदुस्तानी मीडिया की रिपोर्ट्स के मुताबिक कर्नल पुरोहित ने कई दफा ऑन सेवरल ओकेजन्स ड्यूरिंग हिज ब्रीफिंग और जो बात ट्रायल में हो रही थी, ही मेंशन्ड इजराइल, he mentioned his contacts with Israeli intelligence officers, he mentioned those contacts in Mumbai, and he mentioned that he was planning something or a wider network hai. What is going on? Why is this close cooperation between your army's intelligence officers with India? I know India is not involved, has nothing to do really with the Palestinian issue, or wahan pe to koi issue nahi hai. Basically the Israelis are helping you here. They're helping you to do what?
You know, as far as this whole Purohit investigation is concerned, again, there have been many reports, but as an analyst, I can only share this much with you that yes, India does have a military cooperation going on with Israel, which is restricted to the supply of inventory items, particularly certain technologies that India does not have.
लेकिन भास्कर साहब, आपका जो अपना मार्क्स, जो इजरायली एम्बेसडर है इंडिया में, मार्क सोफर, he contradicts what you are saying. He told Outlook magazine in February 2008 that I cannot reveal what kind of military cooperation we have with India, but let me tell you this, and he said to the Outlook correspondent that in 1999 Kargil war, basically the situation on the ground was changed thanks to the active Israeli military help to the Indian military on the ground. So there's something more than just what you're saying.
No, to be honest, at this point, since you are referring to an interview that was published in Outlook, I must confess that I have not seen that particular one.
But I have seen it, and so have many people.
No, fine. I accept what you're saying. I'm not disputing that part. मैं इतना ही कह रहा हूँ साहब, that when we talk about how countries are interacting as far as certain aspects of military cooperation are concerned, आप जानते होंगे that even Pakistan has had some interaction with Israel, which has been, for obvious reasons, kept very quiet and out of the public domain. So my own reading, and I'm saying this to you with great sincerity, that I'm not aware that there was any, presence of Israeli human resource, that, the suggestion that wahan Israel ke log aaye the, Fauj aaya tha, special forces aaya tha, this is completely at variance with my understanding and reading of what had happened at that time.
Bhaskar Sahab, I don't doubt your sincerity. मैं आपकी sincerity को respect करता हूँ, लेकिन I'm also forced to read between the lines of what Mr. Mark Sofer, the Israeli ambassador to New Delhi, says to a major Indian magazine. अच्छा, एक और सवाल है जो Zaid Hamid आपसे पूछना चाह रहे हैं यहाँ पे, जो हमारे स्टूडियो के गेस्ट हैं. पूछिए Zaid साहब, Bhaskar साहब से.
You see, I was reading through the Indian press, the proceedings of the trial of Mr. Purohit. And he acknowledges in that they were trying to form a government in exile, based in Israel. Indian government in exile, trying to stage a fascist coup in India. And what kind of games are going on between the Indian military intelligence? And what kind of games Israel is playing with India, while on the one level diplomatic and the government cooperation is there. On the other hand, the Israeli intelligence operators are trying to overthrow the Indian government. So, can you make sense out of this?
Yeah, Zahid Sahab, I would like to make sense in the following manner. The suggestion that there is one in number army officer in India who is trying to really mount a coup with the help of Israel and have a government in exile is, to my mind, a flight of complete fantasy. I don't want to use any other word. मैं bizarre कहने वाला था, but it is not the best word for television. But I just want to again draw your attention, for the last 20 years I have been studying the media reports between India and Pakistan, and I recall very clearly in the early 90s, there was a report in a Pakistani newspaper which was used or presented in a seminar in America, jahan main tha, where it was suggested that the army commander of the Indian army in the Eastern Army, हमारे एक General Mahmood साहब थे, very fine man, I served with him, that he was escaping from India because Muslims were being persecuted here. Here was an army commander, 3-star general. He was the military attaché to General Sundarji when Sundarji Sahab was the chief. And the real truth was that Jalil Saab, when he had gone on a inspection towards some of the forward areas under his command from Calcutta, his helicopter had a crash, and very tragically he and his wife died. Now, unfortunately, the media at that time, ये internet और computer के ज़माने से पहले था, had for whatever reason interpreted this particular tragedy as a case of an Indian general trying to flee persecution.
So what's your point, Bhaskar साहब? वक्त कम है, आपकी point क्या है? What's your point?
मैं point ये है कि साहब आप जो बता रहे हैं कि ये right wing coup है इजराइल के अंदर, government in exile, should not be given this kind of seriousness on a program like yours, because it just really, I think,
नहीं ठीक है, वो ठीक है,
gives it greater importance than it's
the
worth.
information itself can be disputed in many ways, लेकिन it was, I think, reported in the Indian media, वो जो trial हो रही थी Colonel Prohait की, and there might not have been a wide coverage of that in the Indian media, लेकिन वो हुआ है. Or Zaid, you want to say?
All I can say is that as an analyst, someone who's been in this business for 25 years, I would, as I said, find it exceedingly difficult to accept.
ठीक है, लेकिन there's a point here in this report. I forget for a second what Colonel Prohait said और ये जो government in exile है. लेकिन let's discuss the fact कि वो there's a penetration हो रही है आपकी intelligence और military services में of extremist religious elements. This is the crux of the issue.
And RSS and Bajrang Dal and BJP and those extremist fascist groups from which Colonel Prohait belonged to are a mainstream in India.
Why are you not? You're a retired फौजी और आपके दौर में ये चीजें नहीं हो रही थी शायद, लेकिन ये अब बहुत इंक्रीज हो गई हैं. I'm surprised कि Indian media is not raising an alarm. For example, हमारे ऊपर बड़ा इल्जाम लगता है लश्कर तैयबा और ये लोग हमारे दरमियान में हैं. चले हैं, लेकिन वो भी इसलिए हैं कि आप लोगों ने कश्मीर मसला हल नहीं किया. अगर आप हल कर लेते तो शायद ये भी नहीं होता. लेकिन चलो वो दूसरा इशू है. लेकिन for God's sakes, why don't you speak up when you see Colonel Prohait and others colluding with extremist religious groups और penetrate कर रहे हैं और recruit कर रहे हैं?
With the help of Israel, that's confirmed.
And having contacts also with a foreign country like Israel, which is increasing its influence.
May I respond?
Yes, sure.
May I respond, sir?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you give me a moment, I think your, the intensity with which you have raised these two issues is well taken. But I just want to again, very earnestly, give you this suggestion that when the Purohit case was exposed, the Indian media investigated it, reported it, I think with the seriousness that it deserved. The army top brass at that time accepted that there was a need to investigate this further. They also acknowledged that this is a case that is an exception. It is not the rule, and I do want to again take the liberty of conveying this through your program, that I'm saying this, Saab, and I'd be very happy to be corrected by any of my Pakistani colleagues whom I have had many interactions with. The mainstream of the Indian military is not polarized, it is not right-wing, neither do the RSS or any of the other organizations that you have mentioned have the kind of deep linkages or penetration. I would just like to reassure you, if my Pakistani colleagues are able to provide the same reassurance about what is happening within the Pakistani military, I think it would be a very important confidence building measure for both of us.
No, that's great. वो आपकी बात सही है. वक्त बहुत कम है और हमें ब्रेक पे भी जाना है. Just to answer you, I hope that, I really sincerely hope हम पाकिस्तान में कि आपकी बात सही हो. लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमें इंडियन ऐसी आपकी कुछ तंजीमें हैं, रिलीजियस ग्रुप्स इन इंडिया.
नरेंद्र मोदी, like for example.
नरेंद्र मोदी,
मेन स्ट्रीम बीजेपी.
यू हैव आपके मुल्क में ऐसे कैरेक्टर्स हैं जो हमारे यहाँ इतने ड्राउनी कैरेक्टर्स नहीं हैं. हमारे यहाँ नरेंद्र मोदी जैसा शख्स नहीं है, हमारे यहाँ बाल ठाकरे जैसा शख्स नहीं है, और अब बहुत सी ऐसी वीडियोस और चीजें हैं. लेकिन लेट्स होप कि ये बात सही हो. थैंक यू वेरी मच बस्कर साहब, एंड वी हैव टू गो टू अ ब्रेक एंड विल बी बैक. विल कंटिन्यू दिस डिस्कशन.